welcome to episode number 8 of the WireTap. And I just want to remind everybody that we're on iTunes, Spotify, and of course, you already know you can find us at YouTube. So
There you go. There you
we
go.
got you already know who we are. We got Carlos and Alex. And
So,
Carlos, what you got for our first topic here?
and we
We
got to
just
jump
dive
on
right
this
into
real
it.
quick. We got to dive right into it. No
Just
cutting
go into it.
corners, no slipping slides. No. We're just cutting straight into it. Hey, by any chance, man, have you ever been on social media? And those of you that are listening to us, again, our supporters, listen, we cannot continue to do this if we don't have supporters like you. So we appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the info. But let me ask you this, Alex, as well. Do you ever have you're on social media, whether that's a Facebook thing on your world, whether that's a Snapchat thing, an Instagram thing, a LinkedIn thing when it comes to professional business, right? Do you ever keep people pending, right? You know them, right? You
Mhm.
know them, you know exactly who they are, but you don't want to accept the request because a variety of reasons, right? Have you ever done that, man?
First of all, like I really don't use Facebook. Facebook to me,
Yeah.
it it kind of more I don't know. It just became like too video centric and not maybe like the videos that I want. It's a different type of thing, right?
Yeah, you want
I
to watch.
mostly
I get it. You want to see the Sports Illustrated. I get it. I get it.
I stay on Instagram. I stay
Instagram. Yeah.
on TikTok and a little bit of Snapchat. Not really. And I only check social media at night, right? So
Yeah, ditto.
as far as
Yeah.
yeah, as far as the other stuff is like Facebook, but there has been friend requests there, and I seen or maybe family members. Sorry, family members out there. But there's some other ones that I just like nah, man. It's like I'm good. You don't get
So you
that.
rather not accept them because of just their character and who they are. I'm guessing, right?
Well, it's a little of that, and it's just like if we're not really, let's just say, have that
If we're not
strong,
jiving, right? If we're not
yeah,
jiving,
or we have that strong communication, and it's just more like a stranger, right? It's like, well, I mean, unless there was some communication prior than that, I don't know, man. It's tough.
you're the guy who leaves them pending. If I know you, right? Even some family members, you're saying, wait, you're telling me right now, tonight, that you have family members pending on social media.
Sorry.
Hey man, there's no I mean. That's a yes.
No,
That's
yeah,
a
there is.
definite yes. Okay.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
There's
He
definitely
said
like
he said sorry.
yeah. No, there's definitely some like especially on Facebook, but on Instagram maybe I just haven't got around or I'm pretty sure there's people that follow me that I haven't just followed back, and it's not intentionally. It's just maybe I just didn't do it for some reason. Like I know that the other day I saw somebody, I was like, oh dang, I didn't even know he followed me or something. I didn't know he was on Instagram because a lot of people stayed on Facebook and didn't try, go to Instagram where everything was more happening and the interactions are happening more on Instagram, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
um it's just maybe they followed me and I didn't notice and I didn't follow back. And those are not definitely not on purpose, right?
yeah,
But the
yeah.
ones on Facebook, for sure, 100%. There's a couple of them in there that they probably request, and I'm like, oh no, I'm good. And plus, I don't really post anything there, so there's no reason for me to accept them anyways, because I don't really post anything on Facebook. But if it's on
Yeah.
Instagram, just know it's not intentionally. I just probably didn't even notice you were
I,
following me.
I just think Facebook is the new phone book. I mean, if you ask me, I
Yeah,
mean
correct.
honestly,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a new phone book. That's all it is just your listing, right? And I use it for business purposes when I'm creating my marketing funnels, when I'm focusing on specific ads, targeted ads, segmented ads, whatever you want to call it. That's what I use it for because it's the modern day phone book, if you ask me,
Yeah.
versus back in the day the yellow pages that AT&T Southern Bell used to whip out. But the reason I ask this is because I don't know if you are, I think you are. I don't know. I haven't seen you on there. But LinkedIn is a little different than your typical.
So so
Yeah.
before you go into LinkedIn, I just want to know: do you have people pending on your Facebook?
Wait,
And oh, you were getting there. And by the
hold
way,
up. Yeah.
okay. I just want to make sure you're not avoiding the question either. But go,
No,
look,
no, no,
go.
no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no, no.
okay.
So listen, I don't have a Facebook. I intentionally did that. I removed Facebook from my life intentionally for a variety of reasons, especially because you got stalkers out there just want to know what you're up to, but won't really have a conversation with you. They stalk you, they look what you're doing, they want to know what's going on in your life, and they don't really say nothing. They just kind of bounce. So it's all an opportunity for them to stalk. So I've got out of Facebook intentionally, and I kind of
Wait, so
I
you
kind of still
closed it
keep.
down? Like you
Oh,
closed it down and everything?
out. Yeah, man. I only use it for business purposes. That's all I use it for.
Mm.
Ultimately, I mean, completely. So I did that. I did on purpose. Check it out. You'll see. But here's the thing, and it's been like 4 or 5 years, man. But I'll tell you right now that the Instagram, I try to keep a little here and there on the gram. I use it for business as well. But on LinkedIn, if you're not familiar with LinkedIn, if you don't use LinkedIn, those of you that use LinkedIn, it's a great resource. Look me up. Uh, and it's a great way to build connections and build your network. It's important that you build your network. I'll say that before I move on. Listen, in anything that you're doing, it is incredibly important to the listeners. I want you to know that you need to build your network on LinkedIn because you just never know how important and how vital it can be in your business. Even when you're looking for a job, if you want to break it down that easy, just build your network, always continue to build on it. And that's how your pipeline really breaks out. But here's the thing, the LinkedIn experience to me, I don't know if you're on it, Alex, because I don't think we've connected on there.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So LinkedIn is different than your Facebook, your Instagram, your Snapchat.
Hmm.
So on your Snapchat, you can see who has seen your post, right? On Instagram, that you can see who's seen your story, right? But you can't see who looks at your profile, right? So on LinkedIn, it gives you the ability to see who is looking at your profile. So it'll give you a notification. Hey, someone looked at your profile, and you begin to say, wait, I know that person. Why didn't they connect with me? And then you have people that'll get on LinkedIn, they'll stalk you, and then you're like, oh no, I'm never gonna connect with you. You're a horrible business person. You're horrible to connect with. I want nothing to do with you. And I did that. And the reason I'm bringing this topic up is because 3 4 days ago, somebody looked me up from a previous thing that I did, and I'm trying not to be specific because if I'm specific and if I'm too specific, they're gonna at some
They're gonna know
point,
you. They're gonna know. Yeah.
yeah, at some point they're gonna come out. But I intentionally saw that they were trying to get into my profile, and I blocked them. Right, they're trying to get on my profile, and I blocked them. Not only did I block them, I reported them. I didn't care. I didn't care, and that was intentional because this specific individual, man, is just a toxic person. And my whole point to this conversation
So
is
who is it? Who is it?
there's
Who-
no need. There's no need for that. So my
Hey,
point to that
stop.
is,
Hold on. Stop me when I get to the letter A, B, C. I just kidding. Go.
yeah, no. So the reason I brought this topic up is because usually when you do this on social media, it's because you don't want to be associated with them. You agree with that?
Sure.
So because you don't want to be associated with them, you want nothing to do with them, you block them, you keep them holding on tight, and you will never ever accept it. So I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna say it to you out. If you ask anything of me on social media and I do not respond, it's not that I haven't seen it.
Mm.
Oh, I saw it. I just straight out ignored you. And if you can't find me, it's because I blocked you. So don't try to read into it. It is what it is. You been there?
No.
Have you been there, Alex?
So yeah, a little, but so here's the thing. If you try to reach me during the daytime, unless it's important, you either gotta text me. If it's super important, you gotta call me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes text messages, and you know this, sometimes you're texting me and I don't get back to you. Sometimes if I see it right away or am I able to answer, I do it right away. If not, it'll be a 30 minutes, or next time I see it, I was like, oh man, I haven't responded. It'll be an hour, right? And you know
Yeah.
that, right? I do it to you and it's not
Of course,
intentionally,
all the
right?
time.
But
Yeah, you just don't care.
yeah, it is. Sorry. I'm just busy working, trying to do stuff here.
I'm just trying to build my brand. That's all it is.
So, as far as Instagram or anything like that, if you send me a message, most likely I'm gonna look at it late in the evening, around 9:30 to 12 o'clock midnight, right? In the
Yeah,
course of, if it's something, I'll respond there. And if I wake you up, I'm sorry, but that's the time you're gonna get a response from me on
that's
those
true.
on the
That's
social
true.
platforms,
I
right?
agree. I agree. That's exactly what you do.
No, but yeah, if I didn't respond back, it's because it wasn't worth my energy, right? So why waste my
Yeah.
time? I
No,
just need to move
absolutely.
on.
Absolutely.
So,
I was just curious, man. I was just curious if you've ever done that before. I was just curious if you are if you are the same way with me. And I'm sure our listeners that are listening, they're the same way. You know, if you keep someone waiting, there is a reason. There is
hmm
so much intentionality there that there is a reason specifically why. And it's usually because I don't like you, you're toxic, and I want nothing to do with you. My association is not where I want it to be with you. Do you agree with that?
yeah, I mean, or maybe the question that you're asking is not the right thing. If you're trying to connect and
Good
people
point.
are asking a certain question a certain way, and maybe it gives off this, gotta pretend, especially if you're connecting. And by the way, I'm not on LinkedIn, and I should be. And I don't know why I haven't, because obviously for what I do, it's very important because I connect with a lot of people, and I'm just not on LinkedIn. But they have
You got to
all
do it,
my
man. You got to
yeah.
do it.
But I need to jump on that for 100%.
Yeah.
And
Jump
I'm
on it.
super
Jump
late on
on
the.
it.
You know what? I was an early adopter on MySpace, super early adopter on Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram,
Never
all of
heard
the
of
social.
Zanga? You never
Not
heard of
not sa-
Zanga?
not Senga, but even on
Yeah.
TikTok, like I was like before anybody was on it, I was already on it. And
Mm,
and LinkedIn is the only one that I never jumped on it like as soon as it launched, right? Because
yeah.
the social media, like sometimes the earlier you get on there, the better you connect with people.
Of course. Of course you do.
But
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, it's a good business. And of course, if someone doesn't respond to you, it's because you're not clicking like you said, right? So they're
Yeah.
gonna leave you on red or not respond.
Well, I just want to make sure that I wasn't alone in that, and I'm hoping again. I go back to. I hope the listeners agree. I hope they're right there. You've been there. You've done it, and I just didn't know if that was it. I was in the same in the mix, man.
Dude,
Because
but
sometimes
hold on.
I think that I'm off in certain ways. You know
But
what?
wait, do you have like a certain people or certain friends or family members or something, like whoever, and they're a little bit toxic, and then maybe you kind of like try to get you in on it, but you're like, this is not even worth it. I'm not gonna respond, and it seems like you're the jerk, but it's like, dude, it's just you're so toxic. I don't need that right now.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
that?
I've got some family members that are not toxic. They're not toxic at all. They're just it's been so long that you've connected that you just
hmm
don't connect no more, right? You just don't
Yeah,
connect anymore. But I'm still gonna accept you because at the end of the day, blood is blood. You know what I'm saying? Blood
yeah.
is blood. So I don't keep my family members waiting at all. I don't do. I ain't that savage. You know,
Oh, okay. I was
that's
just
that's you
wondering
on
because
another level.
no, no, no. That's not me because it's like first of all, my family circle is small, and I mean, I cannot see him in a couple years, and some of them you just connect right away. It's like, oh,
Of
dude, I
course.
just saw you. It's like you saw him yesterday. So
Yesterday,
no, no,
yeah.
no. It's a different thing. But I know that there's people out there that I've heard from experience that they're like, oh, dude, like I don't respond to them. That person is toxic. I don't need that. It's like I don't really care, and they just ignore him.
Yeah. No, I've no, no, no. And that's what you have to do, man. If you don't do, that's the thing. If you don't do that, I mean, you take them on, you accept it, and what's the point, right? What's the point?
hmm
So on this specific individual, I did that on purpose because I don't need that in my life, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Anytime I put someone in my circle, I've got different circles, right? I've got my inner circle, and then I've got my circle that's outside the inner circle, right? And if you're in my inner circle, different story, right? If you're in my outer circle, we're acquaintances, right? We're acquaintances, and if I see you, I'm going to greet you. I'm going to have conversation with you. But I will say that I value you, right? As long
yeah.
as you're in my circle, even though it's not the inner circle, I value your friendship. I value your connection. I value you as a person. But if you're not even in that, don't try to come in it. It's just not going to happen.
Well,
It's not
and
going to
today
happen.
with COVID and everything, I think it's important for us to connect with people, because sometimes people they don't have anybody else to connect with or something. So definitely, if people reach out to me, I definitely try to respond. It's just if it's during my working hours, it's like I'm trying to stay focused, and I'm not trying to do on social media. That's why I leave it for the evening on my leisure time, right? Because I need to
That's
be
right.
productive. I need to do this. My time is money. If I'm not working, I ain't getting paid because it's different. Carlos is different. and we could touch on this a little bit going into business, and we'll change the topic. But
Yeah,
it's a little different when you get paid hourly, right? Some people get paid hourly and you're there for a job and it doesn't really matter. But when you're on either a salary or you're commission based, it's different incentives, right? You're not working, you're not producing, you ain't getting paid. You start producing, and you're closing deals, and you're doing your sales and all this stuff. It's commission based, so you're incentivized to keep working. So anything outside of that, and it's non-productive for you. So it's like, no, 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 I can't waste my time looking at social media or doing anything, as because I need to be able to generate money, right? Because
absolutely,
that's
absolutely,
so that's a
absolutely.
little bit. I think that's a little bit different when people are on salary base with commission, because your base is slower because you're banking on making more commission versus hourly. Just working a regular hourly job. So I don't know if
I,
you want to add anything to it, but
for me, it's not necessarily a business decision. This specific individual, it wasn't a business related
mm,
decision, but they were connected to a specific business that I did not want to be connected to, right?
mm,
And for that reason, I did not choose to connect with them because at one point, I'll be real with you, man. This individual hurt me. Just being honest, this
yeah.
individual hurt me, and I don't want nothing to do with them. I don't want nothing to do with them, and it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary in my life. So that's what I did, man, and I'll continue to do it.
But
Uh,
going
uh,
to our rules here, I mean, and we'll touch on the one for this week, but
yeah,
you gotta let go sometimes, right? That's what we said for number
yeah.
one.
You got
And
to let go.
it,
Listen, you got to
but
cut those off. Yeah, you got to cut them off.
yeah, you let it go. But like you remember, like we remember we said, you forget. You forgive, but you don't forget some things, right? Doesn't mean
Yeah,
you hold grudges or you hold it in your life. It's just more like, okay, I'm not gonna be associated with you, or I'm not gonna waste my time and my energy with you because we cut ties,
yeah,
right? You did
yeah,
me
yeah,
wrong or whatever. I've let go. I've moved on. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna accept you, right? I don't. Doesn't mean I'm gonna respond to you. Doesn't mean I'm gonna bring you in my inner circle and we're
yeah.
all cool. It just means like, no, we're past. We cut ties. I'm not wasting my energy on you. I'm moving on and go on.
Yeah. You're just not worth it. Let's just be honest. Let's
Yeah.
call it what it is. You're just not worth my time. You're not worth my conversation. You're just not worth it, right? I'd rather connect with a complete stranger. Listen,
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'd rather connect to a listener who may be a complete stranger than with this individual. I have more value and more respect for a complete stranger that's listening that I have no idea who they are than with this individual. I'll be that real.
Yeah.
So, and that's exactly what I mean. That's the only reason I keep that individual. I blocked him. I didn't care. I don't care. I just don't care, man. And I go back to I was hoping I wasn't the only one, and I'm glad that I'm not the only one. But I just didn't know if anybody else felt that way. But listen, switching gears real quick, we
Mm-hmm.
can delete this later or not. But being today that it's Friday, March the 5th, around 9:23, 8:47 or so, between 8:47 and 9:23. Those of you that are tuning in with your focus on the stimulus bill, have you heard on this, Alex? This recent stimulus bill that's being
Yeah.
passed
So the $1,400 per head, or I mean per individual, that they were
per
talking about.
individual. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Democrat Senator Joe Manchin stalled the passing of this bill today, and there was a standstill for hours because he didn't want a large payout. Fine, that's your
Mm-hmm.
deal, and he was pushing, of course, in certain ways. So now that the bill has gone to the Senate, because it passed in the House,
Yeah.
it's gone to the Senate. The Senate has now trimmed it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if the bill now has passed, now it goes back to the House, right? Goes back to the House before Biden can sign it, before it becomes law, because now it's gone through some major changes in the Senate after it passed this last week. So I'm going to be real quick. Those of you that are listening, I'm going to be real quick on what these changes look like. So there's going to be some money heading your way, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
$1,400, it's still coming your way. If you have kids, $1,400 a pop. It's not 2,000.
So what
Remember, it's not.
happens? So
It
what
used to be
happens with?
2,000, right? Used to be $2,000 per person, but they're counting the $600 that some individuals got previously, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you by yourself, if you make under, okay, it's changed. It used to be a fluffier number. Now, if you make 75,000 and under as an individual, you get $1,400. If as a family unit you make less than 150, you get the $1,400 per person. Okay. So if you're unemployed, it used to be that at the end of this past year, it was $300. Now it's gone up to $400 a week, right? It's going to enhance that. So that has gone up slightly. Now, who's out of luck? The ones that were focused on raising minimum wage. If you were worried or you were concerned or you were really looking forward in getting that minimum wage up from 725 and up, in places where it's 725 right now, or in other places that you were expecting to grow, if you were expecting your employer, they have taken this out completely of the bill. We knew it was going to happen. We just didn't
Because
know. Yeah,
because what happens is, and we talked about it a little bit, one of our previous podcasts. I mean, the
yeah.
15 an hour puts a lot of strain on employers, right?
Oh
Because
man, it does. Absolutely.
no, and just think about it like this. They just pretend that, say I get paid $18 an hour, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they got an entry job that is coming in and they're gonna get paid $15 an hour. Well, the delta between, let's just say that they were getting paid $8 an hour starting off, and I'm already built my experience over the years and my skill sets to be worth $18 for this company, right? Let's just pretend.
yeah,
So now so the entry job was at 8, I'm making 18. That's $10 difference.
yeah.
Now when you bump them to 15, and I'm still getting paid at 18, that gap difference shrink. So you're
Oh
saying, no,
yeah,
no, no, wait a minute. But my
yeah. You
skill set.
minimized that.
So
Hmm.
now it's like I'm expecting a raise because our skills between the 15 minimum and 18 is not the same. There should be no way on earth that I should get paid $3 more, or just when I was making way more, because of my skill sets are so far advanced that I should be compensated. So does that mean that you're gonna bump me to 28 an hour?
Well, it doesn't necessarily do that, and that's between you and your employer. To be quite honest with you, Alex.
No, no, no. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
it. I'm
yeah.
just
But
saying.
that now that has disappeared, though. That has now
Yeah.
disappeared. Yeah, it's not
No, but
fair.
but but but, but you
Totally
see
get
what
it.
I'm saying, though. You see what I'm saying?
Oh
It
yeah,
put a lot
yeah,
of strain
yeah.
because now you can have a couple people be like, wait a minute, it's not fair. If I met all these certifications to get paid 18 and they're getting paid 15, or is my certifications not worth a lot less?
Well, you also have to keep in mind. You also need to keep this in mind that the whole point of this $15 an hour was focusing on somewhat of universal basic income, right? If you're pulling
Hmm.
15, $16 an hour, you can at least make 25 to 30 grand a year, at least, where you have Americans in this great, beautiful land of ours that aren't achieving $25,000 a year, man. And I personally don't get it uh, for a variety of reasons because of, we won't get into that. So I'm going to say to you, those of you that are focusing on this and you were thinking, hey, my minimum wage is about to go up, I have bad news to say it's not. I will say that if you know somebody who gets food stamps or is on food stamps, they're going to see a 15% increase once President Biden signs it into law. If you're behind on your rent and mortgage, you know who to go to on this. Now they're going to provide an additional $5 billion to help states and uh, honestly, local governments assist in that risk of preventing homelessness and
Yep.
adding an additional $5 billion for emergency housing with vouchers, especially those that are homeless now. If you have children, it's an additional $1,400 a pop. Right, it's not 7 or 8 or anything. It is exactly 1,400. Meaning that if you're a family of four and you're making under 150, right, under 150, you can get up to $5,600 in this lump sum.
So what happened? Yeah. First of all, question one: what happens to the people making over 150? Second is, what happens if for people who had kids like 2020, right? Because it's all based on 2019. If you haven't done your
Yeah,
taxes,
yeah.
how
Get your
does that?
taxes in, get it in ASAP. I hate to be
No,
that way, right? But yeah,
no, no,
get
no.
it in.
But actually, I got a letter from the IRS saying that. First of all,
Where's
I
your
got a
credit?
little worried. First of all, I got a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, and then I was like,
I
dang, I
get those
already
all the
paid.
time, man. Don't you worry about it.
No, I was like, I already paid my taxes, like because I had to pay extra to Uncle Sam. But regardless, I was like, what the hell, So I was
Yeah.
a little. Then I saw it, and then I guess for the first, I guess from last time, it was just a letter saying if your taxes were based on previous statements, if you have kids or anything, that you could still claim them, and there would be a
You can.
deduction or a
Yeah,
correction,
you get a
and
credit. Yeah.
then you'll get a credit for whatever they didn't pay you, right?
And I wanted to go ahead and throw this out there before we move on. Those of you that are looking forward, I know the majority of our listeners are focused on, hey, am I going to get any money? So if I could break this down to you, it's under 150. If you make under 150 as a unit, you get cash. If you make under 75,000,
As a
you
single.
get that 14 as a single. That's right. And again, that's AGI. That's not gross. That's adjusted gross, right? That's after taxes.
Mhm.
So just keep those
Well,
things in mind. I wanted to go ahead and put that out there. Hopefully
no,
that's
that's
helpful
fine.
for someone tonight. And we'd go from there.
Yeah, no, no, no. And so I'm curious to obviously 50 Cent's been making a lot of moves behind the scene, right? Switching a
Oh
little
man.
topic here.
Shout
So
out
he's
to
been
50 for sure.
so he started an explosive rapper, took the game during his time and through through our youth, right? I mean, we used to
Oh
hear
man.
50 Cent all
Yeah.
the time.
No, of course, of
And
course.
so but he's been making a lot of moves in the movie world and behind productions and everything. So you have this
He's figured
topic
it
on
out,
here.
right, Alex? Would you agree?
I mean, I saw an interview like talking about the vitamin water. He's like,
Oh
man,
man.
if people pay money for this water, and what if we do this? Of course, he bought into the company. Later on, the company was bought for billions of dollars, and he was able to
Yeah, yeah,
get
yeah.
a nice pay
Yeah,
sum.
because he partnered
And
up with Bay Water. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bay, I mean, not Bay, Bay.
yeah, vitamin water. It was the brand, I think.
Yeah. Have you
Vitamin,
ever heard
yeah.
of Bay? BAI? That
Buy
was who
now.
he jumped on it with. Yeah, that's exactly who he jumped on that deal with
Yeah.
years ago. Yep.
So obviously he's making moves behind the scene, and you got on here this topic for the 50 law. And why don't you kind of fill us
Oh
in a
man.
little bit?
Yeah, man.
Because
No,
I know you love
I'm
power,
just
right? Because you were a big
oh man,
power
I'm a
guy.
power fan, dude. I'm a
Yeah, for
power.
sure.
I'm a power fan. I'm a ghost of. I'm a book of Ghost Power fan. They just finished season one. They're kicking off season two. I don't know if you're familiar with For Life on Hulu. We've talked about that a couple of times on here. That's another 50 Cent production where he's the executive producer, which means he's throwing in cash, but he's
Hmm.
also writing about this man who's locked up in jail, becomes a lawyer, and he's trying to get himself out. And once he gets out, he gets other people out. But and then now this 50th law thing, man, is actually pretty exciting because he wrote a book where it talks about basically his hustle, right? Starting from the bottom, starting from scraping that barrel to where he is now, and he's figured it out that he's got talent in this world, right? He's figured out that he's really good in this. And not only is he good, he's also figured out that he can make some good money, right? It's one thing to write. It's another thing. I don't know if those of you that are listening are familiar with it. He's now also put himself inside the show, right? He not only gets paid to write, but he also gets paid to act in it. And he kills himself incredibly quickly. Why? Because that money just keeps coming in, right? When they revert back to him, when there's memories, because he made himself a part of the actual series. So he's figured it out. So now not only has he figured it out, but we go back to, we were talking about Kenya Barris, who is a fantastic writer. I mean, just a prolific writer. He partnered up with 50 because 50 wrote that book. And now they're going to make a series focusing on his come up, right? I
Yeah.
don't know if they'll use him himself. I don't know if they'll use someone else to cast it. I haven't got that much into it, but I'm excited about it, man, because, and here's the thing, the music industry is hurting in certain ways, right? When it comes to
Well,
owning your music, owning your
mhm.
rights, and how much other people are cashing in on someone else's gift, then in this situation, 50 says, nope, not pulling that game off anymore, right? I found something else. I found something different. And what he did, man, and this is the beautiful part about this, and those that are you that are listening, whether you're a male or female, and you're thinking about your money and you're thinking about investing, how do I get my husband to do this? How do I get my wife to do this, to understand this? Look, when you get to a point where you allow your money to work for you, right? When you allow your money to work for you, all roads lead to an incredible successful life. And that's exactly what 50 has done. He's taken all the money that he's done, right? All the money that he's made, and he has put it into work, right? And now he's making incredible amounts of money, man. Would you agree?
So the key, I think the key is in royalties, right? So I forget his name, and it's one of the lead characters from The Lion King. I think he did the voice in the singing part. I think his name is like Jason something. And somebody can probably find out for us. But back in the days when Disney was coming out of, I think, the
You mean
Aladdin,
Jonathan Taylor
Beauty.
Thomas?
It could be. I thought it was like Jason something, but I
You
think
mean the
it,
original Lion King?
yes, the
Yeah, yeah,
original.
yeah. Jonathan Taylor Thomas as baby Simba.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
example, when they were coming out of the high of Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, they offered them a $2 million check. And then of course their parents and his mom were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is great, everything." And then the
Yeah.
mom's like, "Oh," after the excitement, right? They're like, "Hey, but wait a minute. Why are they
Hmm.
offering just to cut a check of $2 million?" I was
Exactly.
like, "You can take that." None, and then she's like, "No, let's negotiate royalties, right?" So they started negotiating royalties, and they only paid him $100,000.
Mm.
But
Mm.
over a lifetime, and
He's
even in reruns and no special editions releases, he's still
oh
making.
yeah.
And guess what? There's royalties he can pass on to his kids,
That's
so
right. That's right.
he'll be making money from the Lion King forever.
Oh
So it's
man.
kind
Oh
of
yeah.
so. If 50 Cent talks about that one of his I think one of his most successful albums when they recorded it in one of his friend's house, and he was like, "Hey, how do I charge for studio time?" And 50's like, he wanted 50 grand, and 50's like, "I'll give you 30 and a point, a point and a half." And the
Yeah.
guy's like, "No, whatever." So they're negotiating, and 50's trying to look out for him. He's like, "No, I'll give you 30,000 and a point and a half." And the guy's like, "No, no, no." They're in the court already ready to sign, and the guy's like, "Is like, I'll take 50." Said 50, 50 was cool, and 50's like, "If he wants to take the 50, let him take the 50." And then the lawyer's like, "I don't think he understands what's going on. Let me." And 50's like, "Let me step outside, and then you talk to him."
Yeah. Clean
And
this
then
up.
the lawyer actually talked to him. Anyways, the guy came back. He made 30,000 and was able to make $1 million. Right. So sometimes
Overtime. Overtime.
over, yeah, correct, because the album turned like 13 million or something. Is like, you gotta sometimes take your lows in order to see for your highs down the road, because when you're trying to get that little high, you're missing out what potential road you could lead to, right?
That's right. That's right. What a lesson, right? What a
Hmm.
lesson in patience. Number one, in understanding how money works and being patient and allowing your wealth to build versus right off the bat. As JTT Jonathan Taylor Thomas, right, focused on 2 million. He could have been a millionaire right off the bat, but instead of that, what he focused on was wealth versus being rich. And I think we've covered that
Hmm.
a few times. And he allowed his money to work for him. And yeah, man, I'm all
So
for this
real quick,
again. Yeah,
yeah, really quick. This book, the book is called The 50th Law, right? And it debuted at number
an
5, and then,
autobiography. Yep.
yep, it debuted at number 5 in New York Times bestseller. People were giving him positive reviews. Some people called it the modern day of the art of war.
Yep.
So if you guys haven't read that book, maybe go check it out. That's a good book too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Good
so
movie as well. Isn't there a movie on that?
yeah, I think there's a movie. But
Yeah. Yeah.
anyways, I mean, I'm just saying it's got good reviews. Interesting, right?
It is. It is. It's the come up, right? Everyone loves to see, and that's the thing about the world that we live in. We love to watch. Let's just go back to what Will Smith, Pursuit of Happiness. We love those
Such
kind of movies, right?
a good
Where
movie.
someone is struggling and they're trying to figure it out, and everywhere they turn, they're hitting walls. But there comes that one point, right? There comes that, I always say that you're 2 degrees away from something incredible, right?
Hmm.
There came a point in that movie that there was a 2 degree shift. And once that 2 degree shift took place, everything changed for the man.
How do you
Everything.
want it? How bad do you want it? And we talked about this, and I don't know if we talked about it in the show, but is we all work at the same amount of time. Yeah, some of us work a little bit more, some of us work less, but if you are working from 8 to 5, right? How do you increase your wealth? Because the other guys work in the same amount of time. So
Yeah.
it's knowledge, it's the value that you bring for a company. And I may be repetitive to one of our old shows, but it's true, right? You increase your value, and because we're all working the same amount of times.
Yeah.
In relatively speaking, I know I understand some of us work a little bit more, work some overtime, or do your own side hustle, and you're actually
Yeah.
working more. But the principle is the same. You gotta
Absolutely.
educate yourself. You
Absolutely.
gotta invest in yourself. You gotta pursue so you're able to kind of build that wealth in the long run and play the long game.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And that's why I go back to again, and this is personally for me, I focus on the law of the 2 degrees. When you put water on a pan, as long as you keep that pan at 210 degrees, that water is going to simmer, right? It's not going to boil. It's not going to, I mean, it is not going to heat up. It's going to simmer. But once you turn it 2 degrees higher, that water starts to boil. It starts to bubble up. It starts to make an incredible difference. So that's why I have always learned to live under that 2 degree rule, that at times you are only 2 degrees. That means you are this much sometimes away from what could change your life forever, right? What could make a positive impact, what could truly make a massive difference by simply shifting yourself within that 2 degrees. So, I mean, that's exactly what has happened here, man. He was in the music business. He found out a way to make money, and what a come up, right? If
Hmm.
anything, that's the real come up, and I'm grateful that he's sharing his story, that he's putting it together in a series, man. So, and if anything, shout out to Kenya, shout out to 50. I know they're not listening, of course, right? But it is a lesson for us. It is an incredible lesson for us in business, in life, whatever you want to call it, man. I'm all about it, bro.
No, for sure, man. And
And speaking of
I
business, have you ever
yeah.
heard of Tilray? Do you know what Tilray is, Alex?
I mean, obviously, I heard the fuss on TikTok and a little bit of Instagram. People talking about obviously on the subreddit, they're
Yeah,
talking about cannabis and what could be the next, because I think the Democrats are trying to push where decriminalize marijuana and those
yeah,
type
and
of
legalize it.
crimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
legalizing
legalize it.
marijuana. Tilray is a company that deals with cannabis, and they provide products, and they're public, and they've recently have made a big fuss about it on Reddit. Those of you that are listening may not be familiar. Reddit is the individual, the forum that created all this hype and stocks recently, and Tilray was one of them that was named, and it had like a 25% jump. And right now, it's certainly decreased in certain ways. But if anything, everyone has their own opinion on what stocks they want to buy and what they're passionate about. And I didn't know if Tilray was something that you thought about buying, Alex.
Well, I've in the back in the days, I had a little bit of a bad experience when buying cannabis related stocks.
Yeah, man.
I've lost
I'm not a yeah,
uh
yeah, yeah.
I lost quite a bit, right? So I kind of tend to be a little bit more
You're not
more
bullish.
eerie. Yeah, I'm not bullish for sure on these kind of stocks. I really take my precautions with them because I just don't know, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is I seen it on my radar, but no, I haven't either decided. I don't even have it in my watch list because I'm not even watching it. I'm not considering it at the moment. Um, but obviously, if you're big into this, not you personally, but I'm just saying if you're a listener out there, you're big on this. Yeah, I mean, if you're passionate about cannabis and what we can go, there's definitely stocks out there that you need to keep your eye on because they can shoot to the moon.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing is, what I mean, and this is just me, man. Uh, Listen, I think that this Reddit movement is creating some impact, and it's not creating lasting impact, right?
Uncertainties,
It's
yeah.
not, yeah, there's creating a lot of uncertainties. And when it comes to Tilray, here's my concern with the cannabis stock market, right? If we're focusing on a specific company like Tilray, my concern is anytime I invest, and I don't know your approach, those of you that are listening, but my approach is always long term. I never think in short term gains. I always focus on long term games. I think about retirement. I think about retiring early. I focus my portfolio on long term returns, right? On occasional short term, don't get me wrong, an occasional day trader where I just cut here and here just to rebalance my portfolio, make some quick cash, move on. But that takes a lot more discipline to me than it does leaving a stock in there, for long term or long periods of time. What I struggle with, Tilray, in the cannabis market is at some point this is going to become legal. Okay,
For
at
sure.
some point this will be legal, and what the way I see it is, once it becomes legal, everyone wants a shot. Everyone's going to jump in. The market is going to completely oversaturate. And depending what you have as a company, depending what you own as a company, at some point, the actual product, right? The principal product, what you really focused on, is now going to diminish in certain ways, right? Because of the saturation in the market. So you have to have top of the line product. You've got to come up with innovation. And how does this work? And how does this help in the medical field? How does this help in daily life? How does this help in specific sectors where you can honestly scale your company up? But at this point, there's not a whole lot of scaling when it comes to
So,
cannabis, right?
so no, so obviously I'm not, I don't personally smoke any hair or nothing like that, but
Yeah,
I believe that the cannabis does have a place in, because obviously we know the benefits of
absolutely.
glaucoma, helping with chronic diseases or
It's
whatever.
medically, right. It's medical. There's
It's
other things involved in
yeah.
the process. Yeah,
It's such a it's a how many times have you ever heard somebody overdosing on it? So I think the risk factor is low. I'm not saying go and smoke or do your thing. I'm not, you do whatever you guys want to do, but I believe that over time it could go somewhere, right? If you would have invested $1,000 in Tilray, in basically it's TLRY, in the stock
yeah,
exchange, if you
yeah,
would have bought it in December the 31st, it was at 8.26, right?
yeah.
$8.26. If you would have spent $1,000, obviously by Wall Street and Reddit and everybody pushing the hype, it peaked at 63, right? So that would $1,000 would have bought you 121 shares. And if you would have sold at $63 a share, you would have made, for every $1,000 you put into it, you would have made $7,000 and $623, right? But what happened after the hype and everybody, people that were in the low, they start selling. So if you started investing in it when it got around the 40s, the 50s, and then all of a sudden it spiked from one day to, I think in, yeah, when one day it dropped from 63 to 30.
Oh man, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you would have lost a lot of money. You would have lost like over, what was that, like 40% of your money invested, and then
You're yeah.
obviously they keep it's going down. Right now it's at 21.63. So just be careful on all these hype stocks, because you just don't know when the right time is. If you go in them at really low and you got not much to lose, then yeah, you can make a lot of money. But if you go in at the wrong time, be cautious, because you could lose a lot of money too.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember the 7% and 14% rule. Protect yourself.
Always, always. So, for me, that's my approach on specific stocks when it comes to the cannabis market. Again, the reason I want to bring this up, because I had one of our listeners approach me on what did I think about the cannabis market, how did I see it. And again, I recognize its value when it comes to the numbers, right? I respect the numbers, Alex. I do. I
Mhm.
respect the numbers. However, for me personally, when I am focusing on my financial future, right? I focus on long term, and I just don't see the cannabis market as a sustainable market unless you scale, and you scale with innovation. And there's only so much you can put into in research and development when it comes to the cannabis market. Again, my
Well,
opinion, I'm not
no.
into it. But again, that's the way I see it when it comes to sustainability. And I'm
So
a
right,
big advocate on sustainability.
so right now we are working with a company here in Georgia, somewhere in the mid South, that it's It's I'm not gonna say the name or anything like that, but it's a company that's focused on, cannabis. There is gonna be grown. Obviously, they're gonna cultivate it to get the TLC, or was it THC?
Yeah.
It can get all that good stuff, and we got cameras going all over the place, and so who knows? Obviously, it's picking up. More companies are coming out there. Something to
There's
keep your
always
eye on.
traction in this market for
Yeah,
sure.
but
Yeah.
but for
Yeah.
sure you want to, until it's actually federally at the federal level passed the law where this is acceptable. I think we're a little bit far out there.
Oh, I do. I do. However, I do encourage, I mean, if anything, I would say, uh, not that my voice matters to the government at this point, right? I would say you got to figure something out in states where, you have people that are driving across state lines purchasing specific, medically induced medical marijuana, whatever the case may be, because someone's going through cancer, someone, there's a child out there, and they're
Yeah,
figuring
dude. You
out
know what?
how to keep their child. Again, that approach, the government needs to figure something that out versus,
It's such a
hey, I want to
low.
make
It's
edibles, right? That just
No,
it
but
doesn't make any
listen,
sense to
listen.
me.
It's still such a low crime. It's still that it doesn't even deserve. Now, listen, people are scared out there that, hey, only because you're gonna legalize it or whatever, you're gonna smoke. If they legalize it, I'm not gonna go smoke it tomorrow. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you're not gonna be like, oh, it's fine. It's like I'm gonna go do it. So I don't think they should be scared of that. They should
No, no,
look at
no,
all the
absolutely,
they should look
absolutely.
at all the benefits that it has for all these people that are actually suffering. And
Yeah.
dude, it's time. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's a
time.
it's a different world in that aspect for sure, man. I agree. I
Yeah, for
agree.
sure.
I,
But
I
you know what?
completely
Let's
agree.
change topic, dude. I
But
mean,
speaking of marijuana, well, speaking of cannabis,
speaking of
right?
cannabis, go ahead, do your thing. Go ahead, introduce us.
Anybody familiar with if I Alex, if I say the name, here I go. If I say the name Joaquin Guzman Loera, what does that jump up to you as?
No, I mean, hey, well, everybody knows him, aka El Chapo, right?
If I say the name Emma Coronel Aispuro, what is that? What comes to your mind, man?
El Chapo's wife, right?
Oh man, Chapo's wife. Do you
Miss
hear
Beauty
she's in the
Queen.
news, man? Miss
Yeah,
Beauty Queen herself. Have you seen her, Alex?
yeah,
Have you clicked
definitely.
images when you type in her name, knowing
No,
you?
hey, listen, I heard about it, but obviously, as it came on everybody's feed, I think, where
Oh
she
man,
got arrested for being complicit to helping her husband escape. For helping him run
years ago,
his.
yeah, 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 yeah,
No, but
yeah.
even like back then, when the second time he was trying to escape, they're saying that
The
she kind
second
of
time.
helped. She helped like orchestrate that and
Hmm.
helping him run his business, and so now they got her some drug charges and some other stuff, but they're kind of
Did you
making a deal.
some, bro? Did you
But
see how
I
much?
think she's making a deal, bro. I think she's
He's
making a deal
making
where
a great deal. Listen, it's 1 kilogram or more of heroin, 5 kilograms or more of cocaine, 1,000 kilograms of marijuana, and 500 grams or more of methamphetamines. There was an intent somewhere to distribute.
I mean, did they get her with that, or I didn't
They
really fully read the article, but what?
Yeah,
So fill
no, no,
us in.
it's all allegedly, right? It's all allegedly, but they have apparently they're saying there is evidence that at this point she's going to remain behind bars. She's been arrested in Virginia on federal drug trafficking charges, and that's what was ruled by a judge last Tuesday. 31-year-old former beauty queen apprehended at the airport, of course, according to the Department of Justice. So they had been watching her, and
But
somehow she was
listen,
about to travel. Yeah, man.
no, but I think that they're. I mean, there are charges of conspiracy. It's not like I just want to be clear. I don't think it's that actually he found her or she was anywhere near the 100 kilograms of marijuana and the 500 grams of methamphetamines and all that stuff. It's a conspiracy. It's like it's not they catch her on the crime or at the scene. It's just they think that she's orchestrated or she's pulling the strings, and
Well,
that's where they're
according
trying
to
to.
the criminal complaint, here's I'll read this to
Mhm.
you, and I'll let you make a decision for yourself as well as those that are listening. According to a criminal complaint, there is probable cause to believe that from at least in or about 2014 or at least on or about January 19 of 2017, Coronel did knowingly, intentionally, and willfully conspired, okay, to distribute drugs. So that was the beginning of her move, right? So this recent piece, from what we have gathered, of course, is that I personally, man, I think somebody snitched
No,
personally,
but
right?
see, but I think but it's not even that. It's like I think the evidence that they have is like they're trying to say she took messages. So she got messages from Guzman El Chapo, and she passed it on to the lieutenant. So her conspiracy to distribute it and the intent to distribute is because she's the messenger between them.
But she's still part of the conspiracy, right?
No, I understand,
She's
but
still part
I'm
of
just
that whole vibe, right?
obviously she. I mean, we all know how like the Hispanic Mexican culture, everything works, right? It's like it's not that the wife didn't know. It's just that she either participates or not participates.
Right,
But
right. She
here,
just enjoys the lifestyle, right? And
I
it could
mean,
be
she
any
could have,
culture at that point.
but yeah, but she just kind of she's just saying basically they could have been encoded messages for all she knows. It could have been said like, "Hey, can you send them this?" And just like, "Oh, here it is." Like she could play dumb.
So at this point, what they're
I don't
saying
know.
is, I'll say this, Alex. At this point, what they're saying is she's in on it. But here's my thought process in
I
all of
think it's
this.
kind of hard. Why did it took them this long to get her?
I
Because I think
Yes,
they want to throw something to the wall, see if it sticks. That's my theory. I
yeah,
think they want to throw something, see if it sticks, or get more information of the inner works because obviously she knows stuff.
because
So
there's
get
more. Yeah, there's
yeah,
more to this story. Absolutely.
get the inner works of maybe they can scare her enough where she starts giving away other lieutenants or other high official members. We'll see how they operate. How do they transport drugs? Maybe it's a thing, a stick in the wall to see what information they could get from her. And I don't think they really have anything at this moment in time to really nail her down because it's conspiracy, it's intent to distribute, it's messages. Like that's what they're saying is the compliment says the FBI believes she took messages from Guzman to his lieutenants associated for
Yep.
four of her sons
Yeah.
before while El Chapo was in the Mexican prison. So that's what they're trying to ping her for.
Yep. Yep.
I don't
Yep.
know. I don't think it'll stick, but who knows? I
So
mean, they
if it
may.
sticks, she gets 10 years in jail. Did you see that? She gets 10 years to life in prison. My apologies. 10 years to life in prison. So there's a scary thought, right?
Mhm.
Beauty queen goes to jail for life. That's a different, right? And
Mhm.
up to a fine of $10 million. My point is, this woman, you and I know, is doing very well in life right now.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that she gets, the right set of lawyers behind her. And according to what some of the, the representatives that she's got on hand is, what they're saying is that they want more information, right? What do you have on her? Because this isn't gonna stick, like you
Yeah,
said,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So that's what they're pushing. Though there's not a whole lot of details out on it yet. I'm more than sure we'll hear about this again, especially with the kind of I don't know what you call it, man, the kind of fame that El Chapo has, as well as his wife. And you see it in the documentaries, you see it on the series. She was right there with the man, right? She was his ride or die, and she waited on the man, right? And I mean, you see how faithful she was to him. What makes these individuals think that she's not going to be faithful to the man now?
Nah, if she got some good lawyers and people that really know, she was like, "Don't be scared. They don't got nothing." And we all have seen this happen before, where they try to intimidate, like back in the days when the Italian mafia and the Sopranos and all that good stuff, where they try to scare you, believe that you have something. But dude, let's change topics. Obviously, we gotta
Speaking
wait
of
on.
intimidation, tell me about this
Dude,
Canelo fight.
so my brother actually went to Canelo's fight. So
Yeah,
Canelo
yeah, I
fought.
saw that.
Yeah, he took him and his friend went out there, and they got like seats. They were close to one of Pacheco's family, and while he was fighting, and he said that was a little. It was nice to see like them getting so hyped for him. And then
Yeah,
Canelo, he said the vibe was like crazy. The love for Canelo was amazing from coming from the public.
yeah,
And
no, of course.
dude, I just think Canelo is representing Mexico as far as in the boxing world in a good light. You know, if his record, he has a total of 58 fights, 55 wins, the 37 wins by knockout. The only loss he has is, of course, against Mayweather. And I think that if Mayweather fought him today, I'm not gonna go on the limb and say that he would win, but I would say that he would be a different fighter than when
Yeah,
he fought that time where he lost.
I,
If you
I I disagree, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, I think
I think
Canelo
he would.
learned.
I think Mayweather would still destroy him.
No, because I think he learned. I don't think he was ready for Mayweather's like counter punches or the way he fought his style because he wasn't never used to being such a defensive like when Mayweather and I'm tucking my shoulder guys when Mayweather
Because
tucked
that's
in
what he
the
would do. Yeah,
yeah he wasn't ready for that. I think having the experience of fighting him, he would go into that fight completely different and with the experience that he's gained on these other fights that he's fought I think he would be more prepared today to fight Mayweather if Mayweather wanted to fight him, of course. I think he's got a little bit more because he lasted the whole 12 rounds. They went to the end, and I think it would be better to show him that hey, I'm a way better fighter at this moment in time. I'm not saying that he would beat Mayweather.
yeah.
I'm just saying he would be a better fighter to fight Mayweather now than he was back then when he lost to him. You know?
My whole thing in this, I don't have a dog in this fight, right? I
Yeah.
don't. But you know what I do see in this man? I see millions and millions of dollars, right? I see
hmm
this opportunity to, of course, increasing your fame. But I mean, Canelo, first, I don't. What I don't understand is the amount of money that Canelo fought for compared to his other fights. Did you catch this?
Well, what are you talking
Generated
about?
20 million. So he generated 20 million on this, right? But
Mhm.
that's less than the 35 million he was making per fight under his 11 fight 365 million contract with Days In.
What the zone? Yeah,
Yeah,
the contract.
I don't get
So
it. I don't
so
get it.
basically, they weren't even paying him, or he wasn't getting the guaranteed
That's
purse
what's
that they were.
being said, right? That's what's saying. That's what's being said
Obviously,
allegedly.
obviously something happened because they dissolved the contract, and I'm pretty sure they paid him off for something. Something happened where they he was allowed to. And again, let's keep in mind that this is COVID, right? So
Of course.
the pay per view buys are a little bit different than I think they would because there's less money that people have in their pockets to pay for a fight.
Yeah.
And I get
But
it.
again,
You
again,
can,
I mean, then again, Oscar de la Hoya is a stingy dude.
yeah, but
Shady dude in certain
I
ways.
don't think they're partnered
I
anymore
don't think so either. I don't think so either. No,
because
no,
that's
no.
what I'm saying. He's such a like, some people called him a snake, some or whatever, allegedly, right? That he kind of's in there for the money. He's kind of like one of those P Diddy kind of guys, right? Where he,
You talking about De La Hoya?
yeah, de la
Bro,
olla.
De La Hoya rides everybody's waves.
That's what
Let's
I'm
be
saying. He's
real.
kind of that's why they're saying like he's kind of like P Diddy on the in the boxing world. Would you? I don't know. Would you? I mean, that's kind of what they say, right? I'm not.
Why? Because Diddy always rides everyone's wave. Is that
Yeah,
what
like
it is?
he
But you
takes
also have
advantage
to,
of other people.
yeah, but you also have to keep in mind Diddy is worth $900 million, and Diddy's got,
Oh, dude,
his own vodka. He's got his own
I'm not
tequila.
saying. I'm saying
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Diddy
yeah,
back
yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
sure
yeah.
Diddy is a different man
Different
than he
dude now.
was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, from what he was back then. But I'm just saying when he was on his come up and the hustle and the thing, he was also kind of riding people like that.
Yeah, yeah. But I expect it from Golden Boy. I don't know about you, man, but I expect it from Golden Boy. I really do. I expect it, which is why in all of this, I've been blown away why Canelo took this hit. And it makes more sense that he took this hit because he wants more exposure and he wants more fights. Would you agree?
I
Now, the
mean,
question is what happens now and who's he go in the ring with next?
I think he's got to keep fighting. He's doing his thing, and he's not really getting hurt. Besides Mayweather, there wasn't anybody really that was been touching him or giving him the power like to receive, right? So I think he's at full capacity. He's super mind. It's completely opposite than Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., right?
Yeah,
Where
no, of
everybody
course.
thought that he was gonna be the
Be like his
legacy of his
daddy. Yeah,
dad,
yeah, no,
where
no, no.
he took it and completely flopped,
Big
right?
time, big time, big time. And here's the interesting part is now you move into this comparison. which actually takes us into the rule number 4
But
of the
wait.
previous
I
seven
want
rules of life. Yeah, man.
if you're changing topics, or are you still staying with this
Oh,
one?
I'm changing topics
No,
because
no, wait, hold on. I
I'm
just
done
want to
with De
say
La Hoya. I'm done with De La Hoya.
no, no, but I
I
want
want
to
to
say
get into
So
that.
Canelo was like saying, "Hey guys, I don't." They asked him, "Hey, what do you think about your haters and this and this and that?" And I love what he said, well, "This is how you worried about yourself," like we were talking about in a different podcast.
Yeah.
Is he was saying, "What do your haters say this? The haters say that." I say this to my haters because I do if I do many fights because I don't do any fights because of this because of that. He's like, you
Yeah.
know what? He's like, "A mí me vale madre." He's like, he basically said, I translated, he said, I don't give a he don't care. He's gonna do him, he's doing himself, he's in a good
I'm
place.
sorry,
And he
my
don't
producer was over here laughing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
nah, but he doesn't care, dude. And that's the right mentality. Me vale madre. Like I'm just doing me. I'm just worried about myself and my growth. So and with
Yeah,
that,
no, yeah,
take us
yeah,
to number 7.
Speaking of number 7, you guys remember over the past 4 weeks, we brought up and we talked about these 7 rules of life. Today we're on rule number 4. We won't spend too much on this because we've spent some time on some other topics. Well, I'm sure we'll shorten this particular podcast as we always do. So the 7 rules of life number 4 today talks about don't compare yourself, right, Alex? Don't compare yourself to the old. Wait, hold on, hang on. The only person you should compare yourself to is trying to beat the person you were yesterday. So don't compare yourself. Is that fair to say, Alex?
Yeah, for sure. You always trying to. One of the best quotes, and I encourage anybody to go listen to it. Is Matthew McConaughey has a speech out there, very powerful, and he says they asked him the question, "Who is your hero?" He's like, "My hero is me in 10 years."
Yeah, of
Right, and then
course.
he's like, "Well, when I got there, I was like," and they asked me again. I was like,
Want
"Well,
to be?
my
Yep,
hero is me in another 10 years." It's
that's right.
like
That's right.
other words, I encourage everybody to go find it. You can search for it. It's really great. But basically, you always looking forward, moving forward, looking forward. You get to that spot, jump onto the. You look forward, and I agree with that 100%. You gotta compare. You set goals for yourself. Once you get there, look for the. Don't worry about the person you were yesterday. Try to be a better person and show empathy, right? And try to do the best that you can.
And I struggle, man. I struggle with people who are constantly comparing themselves. Right? I know specific people that are dealing with trauma because their parents years ago said, "Hey, why can't you be more like your sister, or why can't you be more like your brother?" Right? And all of a sudden, they start to feel this sense of I'm not worthy. I'm less than, and they begin to live in that. And I say to those individuals, if that is you today, that you are constantly comparing yourself because you don't have the same car that your neighbor has, or you don't have the same kind of house that your friend has, or that you don't have the same kind of wealth potential that an acquaintance had. Listen, I say to you right now, get out of that headspace. Stop comparing yourself. The only person you need to be comparing yourself with is yourself, and doing better every single day than who you were yesterday, last week, or last month, right? So, if
Yeah,
anything, I would encourage you, you got to get out of that headspace, because when you start to live in that space of, I'm not enough, right? I don't have what it takes. I don't measure up. Man, that starts to translate into other areas in your life. Think about it, right? We're talking,
hmm
we just talked about, raising minimum wage in this COVID bill. Listen, if you start living in, oh, I'm never going to make more money because the government doesn't. No, no, no. If anything, you need to increase your wealth, right? You need to
but
increase your value. You need to figure out how you can get from 725. If you're stuck in that, how are you going to get to 750?
how do you increase your value, right? But
Absolutely.
do you think that in a way, and maybe it's not even a culture thing. Maybe it's a in a way. Do you think this is instilled in us from our parents, right? Where our parents were that way with us, and I try to really catch myself when I do this with my son, right? I try not to compare him to other, even when he's playing soccer and stuff, and some other kids are doing that. Is I have to catch myself because it's like how that other boy is like, and I'm not trying to compare you because I'm not. It was like you just need to focus on yourself. If you be focused, you can be better than that kid. It was like it's not, and it's not trying to make him feel like. I try to be really careful because I'm not trying to instill that like what you're saying, trying to compare him with somebody else.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
so that's what I try to
Because
say.
of the
I'm not trying
damage
to.
that goes along with that,
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to compare. I was like, but it was like he's being a little bit more focused. If you be more focused and with your speed, you'll be able to beat that kid. You just gotta believe in yourself and you gotta put yourself in. So I try to instill him was like, believe in yourself. You can do this, and that's what I try to do, and not really compare it. When I try to compare a little bit, because I think it's so ingrained in us that I try to catch myself and be like, no, don't do that because it's wrong. Because the damage, like you just said, it could be bigger in life
Oh,
down the
monumental.
road. And,
Monumental.
and
Absolutely.
he won't understand that where they came from. And that could be our fault as parents, right? If you're out there and you're a parent, catch yourself. Make sure when you do them and make sure that I try to reverse when I catch myself doing it because it'll slip, right? Because
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
human, it'll slip. And what I
Absolutely.
try to do is like
Absolutely.
I try to reverse that and be like, no, no, believe in yourself. You can do this. Have the mentality that you know, and say that, hey, if I can't do it right now, I need to work on myself so I can do it. And
Yeah.
that's what I try
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, that's key. And that's listen, you may be talking about your son right now, but listen, that goes specific, that advice goes specifically to those that are listening, right? You're constantly under this, I hate to say this, but sometimes we feel like we have people in our lives that, in a way, we feel like we're constantly under a microscope, right? Whether
Mhm.
it's your parents, whether there's family members, whether there's friends, and you have to battle this back and forth, this internal battle where you have to all of a sudden prove yourself, right? How great you are, how good you are. Listen, if you are constantly having to prove yourself and heavenly constantly prove your value and your worth, and I'm losing it here because it's making me upset, man. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
If you're
Yeah.
having to prove your worth to somebody, let me say this to you right now. You don't need that person in your life.
Yeah. The only
And
validation
and
you need
listen,
is you.
yeah, that's the only validation you need. And sometimes it could be your family, sometimes it could be your direct family. And at some point, you're gonna have to create this line, right? This barrier, this fence to say, when it comes to this, I'm not gonna go there with that person because I am not gonna allow someone to diminish my value, to take away something that I have done, something that I have built for the sake of their own, personal measurement, right, on me. Man, forget that. Get away from that. Run from that. Get out of that. So, if anything, I love number 4 here because, again, it reminds us that at the end of the day, man, if you're yourself and all that you come with, man, people are going to love you and like you even more because you are you. You are unique. You are to who you are. So, don't compare yourself. And if you fall into that rut, compare yourself who you were yesterday, right?
Mhm.
And when you get to that point, man, sky is the limit, bro.
Oh, for sure. And it's one of those things, dude. We all fall to these old bad habits, right? And
Oh
it's just
man, yeah, man.
it's just putting awareness to ourselves, understanding, changing our thought process. How do we think and how do we change this? I believe, because obviously you've made mistakes. You've probably done it where you compare somebody. It's like, man, it'll slip. So it's catching ourselves and making sure that we come out of that, train our bodies, and it's a hard training that we have to do to not to compare ourselves to other people and just work on
Uh-huh.
ourselves. Like you said, compare yourself to who the person you were yesterday, and then move on forward and
Yeah,
keep
man.
on going.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you this. I'm not saying this in any kind of way to pump my head up, but I've never compared myself to anybody
Yeah.
because I know my worth. I know my value, right? I know what I bring into this world. And if my circle of influence, whether it's within my inner circle or within my outer circle, if I don't belong in any of those, if my value does not consist and it needs to consist in that circle, I'm out. I'm out. I got to. I gotta be out of that. If
No,
I'm
you
not
know
out,
what?
if I don't do it, it's not gonna happen, right? I
Yeah.
gotta make that decision now because if I don't, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life trying to figure out how I'm valuable to the person that's next to me. Forget that.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? And sorry, we're gonna probably go a little winded, but this is super interesting, right? So
Yeah, man.
I've always said it when somebody when somebody says I don't want to teach somebody for my job security,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if you ever heard that before. People said that before.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
In my mind, you know what immediately I associate that? A weak mind,
Fear.
a weak
Yeah.
character.
Fear. Of course.
And I said it in
Absolutely.
it, right? It's like, dude, you gotta be positive. If I don't care sharing my knowledge because I know what I bring to the table, and
That's
if
right.
that person can bring it better than me, good for them, right?
Rock on, man. Yeah,
But
man. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
affecting myself, and and that doesn't let me like not trying to teach somebody because I'm scared that they can elevate and go past me. If that person goes past me, guess what? I'm already a competitive person. I'm gonna be competitive with myself, and I'll be like, well, if that person, well, I need to be studying up. What am I
Yeah,
doing to
man.
better myself,
Yeah, man.
right?
That's right.
So,
That's right. No, you're
that's how
right.
you
You're right.
that's how
If
you
they're
attack
leaving
it.
you behind, it's your own fault.
Yeah. So what do? Educate
Exactly.
yourself.
Exactly.
Increase
Exactly.
your
Increase
value.
your value. That's right, sir.
Right? So that's anyways. I didn't want to go too much because I really want to get to this next topic.
It's a
And this
little
is
bit
a
of a soapbox, just a little bit of soapbox, ladies and gentlemen. If you can
yeah.
imagine, there's a little bit of a soapbox. And here's the thing: I think we're so passionate is because there have been at times. I know it happens to you, Alex, and I know it happens to me where there are people around you that I hate to say this, they're really haters, right? They're really
Hmm.
haters, and they're hating on you because they obviously want to have or acquire something that you have. And my whole thing is, look, I'm not the kind of individual who's gonna, just walk around and show it off. Hey, man, if you want to roll with me, let's roll, right? But just know that if you roll with me, this ain't no joke, right? We're gonna do some real things. We're gonna do some big things. So don't bring that small-minded mindset around me because it's not gonna last. It's not gonna work. You're gonna realize that maybe you don't want to roll with me, right? And that's what happens in life. And sometimes, again, you gotta compete, but compete against yourself. So anyway,
Even
man, go
even
take the
even
floor.
with food, if you don't like rolling
Oh
deep on
man.
food, don't call me. I
Hey,
ain't
by
trying to
the
go.
way, you really
I ain't trying
like
to
that
go to
Thai
McDonald's.
restaurant, right? You like that Thai restaurant I sent you to?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
We went to this Thai restaurant. Carlos recommended us. It was really good. It was down in Atlanta. Um, Top Spice. It was in a nice little Italian. I mean, Italian. I'm sorry. I was thinking I wanted to go to Italian, but we ate Thai, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed the food. It was delicious.
yeah.
Anybody's in the area may want to check it out.
Top
There's a
spice.
Yeah, but
Delicious.
dude, talking about food here,
Food. Yeah,
we've
man.
been promising these top 5 burger joints, and the 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 ones that we settled down is Waterburger, Shake Shack, Red Robin, Five Guys, In and Out, and which one is your top and number one going to number five, Carlos?
So you want me to break these down, put them in my top, like my number one is my favorite, and the number five is my least favorite,
So
right?
so yeah, so number one is gonna be
Okay.
your
Okay.
favorite.
All right. Yeah, man.
Five, and then we're gonna scratch, and we're just gonna talk about the first three. So go
Okay.
ahead and say again, In and Out, Five Guys, Waterburger, Shake Shack, Red Robin.
Yeah.
Which one do you?
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's very close between number one and number two. It's
Mhm.
very close. But if I had to pick it right now, In and Out, number one.
So In and Out's number one. We'll talk about it in a second. So In
If
and
you
Out's number
don't know
one.
what In and Out is, it is a California chain that has an occasional chain in Texas, like North Texas, like
Yeah,
deep Texas. Like when
like
I was in
Dallas
Oklahoma,
area.
yeah,
Yeah.
like when I was in Oklahoma City, I'd drive down to Deaton, Texas, and get me an In and Out burger. So In and Out number one, right? In and Out
Okay.
number one at this point. Number
Okay.
two, which was a struggle,
Hmm.
Five Guys.
Okay.
A good Five Guys burger, man. Little cheeseburger, big cheeseburger, man. Things are big, right?
Hold on. We're gonna
Anyway.
talk about them. So just go. So In and Out,
So In
Five
and
Guys.
Out, Five Guys, Shake Shack,
Uh huh.
okay, Red Robin, and my least favorite, the trashiest burger
Yeah.
known to man, is
Uh,
Whataburger.
okay. So I put
I'm
them.
sorry to those that are Whataburger fans. I know we have listeners, and I know that some of those listeners are Whataburger fans. I'm sorry. My heart breaks for this moment, but it's just a sweaty burger, bro. It
It
feels
doesn't
like
have
someone
no
put it in
taste.
your armpit, man. It's like an
Okay.
armpit burger.
Yeah,
Anyway,
dude.
I'll stop. Go
It's
ahead.
like a smush and stuff. So
You know this is sponsored by Whataburger. Do you know this next segment is sponsored by Whataburger?
so anyways, Listen, I'm really torn about this because I want to put In and Out as my number one.
Yeah, man.
I really do. But I'm gonna put Five Guys for this purpose
For
as
the
a
sake
number
of not
one.
matching with me, I get it. I get it. It's all
So
right.
so so I'm gonna put Five Guys, In and Out, Shake Shack, Red Robin, and Whataburger is a trash burger. I don't care. Sorry, but Texas people, it's not good. Um, so so we're gonna get rid of Whataburger and Red Robin because they're our least favorite. And
Yeah,
now we
yeah.
got Shake Shack. You put it at number three because of why?
No, I got Shake Shack as number 4, man. It looks like you have number 4 too, huh?
No, I have it as my number. It should be my
Your number
number
4.
three.
Yeah, your number 3 is In and Out. It look no wait. Yeah, your
No,
number
no,
3
no.
Shake Shack. My number 3 Shake Shack.
Yeah, so you put Shake Shack at number three. Can you give us a reason why you put it at
You
number
know,
three?
you know what I really like about Shake Shack? I love the simplicity of the burger, right? It's a very simple burger, but the seasoning on the meat is just it's right on point, man.
Did
It's
you
not
get the smoke?
overpowering, it's not incredibly salty. It's just right. And I get the normal, right? I get the normal cheeseburger.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't go into
yeah.
the fancy stuff because here's the thing: when you get into like if you start throwing the bacon in there, it could make or break that burger if you ask me, right? Because I'm a crunchy bacon guy. I don't like the soft bacon in my burger.
No, but okay. Have you ever tried the smoke one that they have there? It's got
You
this
talking about the
basically
barbecue sauce?
no, no, no. It's just the smoked chilies on top of it. It's got this like a little smoked chilies on top of the burger. It gives it a different flavor. It's really good.
Oh, you know what I forgot to mention in this one, man?
What?
I should apologize. Wahlburger. Have
Oh,
you
but
had
you
a
know what?
Wahlburger? Have you
But I
had one?
haven't had it. No, so I need to try that
Anyway,
one for sure.
all right, okay, okay. You need to
But
go
what I
this
would,
week. You need to go this week.
but no, no. This one we're going to a different restaurant. But uh, I didn't want to bring any of those because they could not be all over the place. These are more generic, like more chain ones.
Mostly big cities. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is why we chose these. And then the reason for me is number three is because the burger it tastes really good, but it's really small.
Small. Yeah,
And
it's
and,
not
and
enough.
it always leaves me when man I should have grabbed two. It doesn't matter if you get it a double.
Yeah,
It is like it's too small. It's like a
it
little
is.
bitty.
It is.
Uh, so that's why it's number three.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we had a little change here, right? You put In and Out as number one, and I put Five Guys as number one. And the reason I chose
You don't
one,
know.
one because you picked it, and I just wanted to give a little bit different. And my only
Yeah, yeah.
reason, if I go strictly on hamburgers,
Yeah, man.
is strictly on the
Brick,
hamburger.
because that's what this is. We're not focusing on
No, well,
fries.
it's a little bit with the fries. It's my little combo meal. That's the way I
Should
kind
have
of
said combo.
well that it doesn't matter, dude. It's you get your burger and the combo,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Because that's
Yeah,
how you
man.
order the food.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Five Guys gets you their Cajun fries. The potato tastes a lot better. It's got flavor in the potato. The
It's
burger,
thicker. It's
the
thicker. It's a thicker burger. I mean, a thicker
yeah,
fry.
the burger is nice size and everything. It tastes like you grill it in the back of your house. It's really good.
Yeah.
I still like the way that In and Out puts their burger together. Is so good. But what they lose me is the fries.
Yeah. But that
100%.
sauce, man. That
Listen,
sauce.
but
That sauce.
even
That's
the
good
animal
sauce.
even the animal fries, dude, it after a while it's too much sauce and it gets
It
to you.
is. It is. It
So
is.
so if I had the In and Out burger with the Five Guys fries,
Ooh.
100%. There's
You
no
know what?
even no question.
I'm gonna twist it on you for a minute. I'm gonna
Go ahead.
take the In-N-Out burger and I'm gonna throw some tots, some tater tots.
I mean that
Ooh.
could work too, but I think
Ooh.
I'd rather have the fries. Even McDonald's
Oh.
fries going with In and Out.
Oh
Fine.
man, come on, McDonald's fries. What is that? A Coke? Come
Dude,
on,
it's
man. It's like a
it's
straw. It's like a you ever taken the paper off of a straw? That's a
dude,
McDonald's fry.
but the cook right, it tastes pretty good. But anyways, it's a
Oh yeah.
it's a close battle between and if it's strictly on the burger, I
Yeah.
agree. In and Out Burger is the number one combo as a whole. I put it as number two, and I put Five Guys as number one as a combo, just
Yeah.
because I think the fries are bring that extra little point to them. But
So if anything, we're highlighting big business right now and highlighting In-N-Out Burger. Would you say that? And
yeah,
Five
sure.
Guys.
Yeah, sure, sure. I mean, sometimes you gotta do it, but um,
Listen, next time we ought to do, maybe not next week, but a couple weeks from now, because we got different things
ooh,
on the
maybe the
content calendar, is we need to focus on steaks. Who does the best steak?
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
At what price range too, right? Because I mean, there's
yeah, yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. Sometimes it just depends where you go, and it
yeah.
doesn't have to be an incredibly expensive steak. It could be a delicious steak.
No, and
You
we got
may
some
only be
interesting
paying.
topics. I think
Yeah,
we
man.
had some one of our listeners brought a good topic, and we'll bring it up so we can dive deep into it. We already had this show planned out, so we'll stay tuned for that. We'll dive deep into some of the conversation because it sparked a good topic, and we'll go for that. But Carlos, take us into the quote of the day.
Yeah, man. Last but not least, we talked about these 7 rules of life. We talked about some opinion pieces that you heard recently from me and Alex. This quote today comes from Les Brown. Les Brown says that life has no limitations except the ones you make. I'll say it again. It's life has no limitations except the ones you make. As you move forward in life, as you keep pushing, as you keep trying to strive for success, keep pushing to build your wealth and take that wealth and make it a generational wealth. Listen, I encourage you today to listen what Les says is that life has no limitations except the ones you make. My name is Carlos.
This is Alex. And before we take off here, I want to make sure that you guys, if you have any questions, any topics that are interested for you, anything that we might have briefly went over and you want to know more in depth, just let us know. Hit us in the comments.
Hit us
And thank you
up.
for the support. And thanks for watching. And with that,
Always.
see you guys.
Peace, guys.
Peace.
Ahí está. Oh no, we didn't press the record button. That's the